And that slow motion saucing action you came here for, well, here it is. Does that not make you salivate? Now, for those of you that don't know, this is the inside of a dimmy. Now, if after watching this, you're just still steaming your dim sims, now that should be illegal. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to make the Aussie version of Texas Twinkies. Now, cooking time for the far superior Aussie version is only 30 minutes. Or for those of you who love to use my beer timer, you're looking at a 1 beer cook. Cheers. Texas Twinkies are stuffed jalapenos wrapped up in bacon. Us Aussies don't need to stuff around too much. We just want to eat food. Today I'm using a 57cm Weber kettle and I'm pairing it up with a kettle cone and Heat Bead's original barbecue briquettes because I want to be cooking indirectly with temps of 240 degrees Celsius today. How I'll do that is by placing the kettle cone in the middle of the charcoal grate. Then I'll 3/4 fill a chimney starter with the briquettes, light them up, and once they're fully ashed over, I'll dump them into the kettle cone. And ever so gently place your grill back in. And I'll pop the lid back on, opening all the vents, and we're going to give that grill 10 minutes to warm up. We need the barbecue hot and ready once we have prepared the food. Hence why we're creating fire first. To make these, you just need to go out and grab yourself some Marathon branded dim sims. These come frozen. There's no need to defrost them before cooking them. All you got to do is get them out of the bag. And that's what we're dealing with. A frozen Aussie dim sim. Next up comes the bacon. And I find this brand sold at Coles supermarkets works the best. Mainly because it's all uniformed in shape. Now you want to lay your bacon out in a cross pattern like that. Placing one frozen dim sim down, you're going to wrap the bacon end over end, and then you're just going to wrap up the dim sim in the other piece of bacon. Placing them all on a baking tray, ready for the next step. Yes, we give everything a nickname in Australia. That's why we call our dim sims dimmies. Next up, we need some flavour, and any barbecue rub will do. I'm using 4 Monkeys beef today. Give the bacon wrapped dimmies a good dusting from around 30 centimetres high. By applying your rub from a distance of 30 centimetres, it allows the particles to separate before they hit your food. And you'll get much more even coverage, less clumping, and each one will taste exactly the same. But these are now ready for that barbecue. We call our dim sims dimmies here. There's nothing strange about that. The grill's had 10 minutes to warm up, so we can now give it a light spray of oil, and this is just going to help create a non-stick surface and smoke a little bit. And then we can just arrange the dimmies around the outer part of the cooking grill, as this is where that high intense heat from that kettle cone is being forced. As that heated air is forced up through the kettle cone to the top of the lid, it is then forced back down the lid and around the bowl and back up through the kettle cone again. We can just now leave them alone to cook. There's a lot of false info when it comes to using a kettle cone. People saying that you should foil the bottom grate, or a cheap steel bowl does the same thing, or I can't get the same temps that you do, you must be lying. I've been using them since 2017. I've tried every method out there, so if you're unsure, just ask me. If you didn't know, the Weber lid vent creates a hot spot. As the cold oxygen is sucked in through the bowl vents up and around our fuel, it is then forced back out through this lid vent. So to ensure an even cook, I recommend turning the lid a third of the way every 10 minutes during the cook. Do you really need to spin your lid? Of course not. You can overcook some of your food if that's the way you like to cook. Are you even barbecuing if you aren't adding sauce to your cook? Grab yourself a small pot and into it add some of your favourite barbecue sauce. I'm using half a cup of this Heavenly Hell Hallelujah Hustle sauce because it's yummy. And don't forget to place a couple of tablespoons of honey into that. Add this over a low heat, just enough to warm up the sauce and mix in the honey. And once warm, place to the side until we need it. And by glazing these Aussie Twinkies, we're going to ensure they stay moist, smacked. I'm taking that. Oh, some of us like the word. Now you can use any sauce you want, but I suggest if you can track down this Heavenly Hell range, it's well worth it. It's awesome. Our Aussie Twinkies have been grilling away for 20 minutes, so it's time to glaze them. I like using a silicone brush because they tend to hold more sauce in them. Now you want to quickly glaze all of the Twinkies to make sure they're fully covered, and then get the lid back on for the last part of the cook. Due to the high sugar content in sauces, it's always best to glaze or sauce your food at the end of the cook to avoid burning. That's 30 minutes up. These dimmies are done. We can now burn our fingers grabbing them off the heat. Or wear gloves to protect your fingers. The choice is yours. And now just remove the Aussie Twinkies from the grill. Does that not make you salivate? Now these will be extremely hot, so let them rest for a couple of minutes or burn the roof of your mouth. The choice is yours. If you're unsure if your dimmies are ready to be eaten, they should be reading a minimum of 74 degrees Celsius. Because there is minced meat in these, you need to cook them properly, and everyone knows any type of minced meat needs to be cooked to a minimum of 74 degrees Celsius internally to be safe to eat, so you don't die or don't kill other people. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is the inside of a dimmy. Now, once you do dive in and start eating them, enjoy them for the easy indulgence that they are, with a few drinks and a few friends.